We're given two functions, the f function, which says whatever comes in you square it, and the g function, which says whatever comes in you add 2 to it. And now what we want to do is compose the two functions in part A. We want to take f of g of x. So the first thing we need to realize is, what does this mean? Right, this is a name, this is the name of a new function, right? We have one function f, another function g, and we're not going to add them, multiply them, or subtract them. We're going to compose them. And that new composition, we're going to give this name. So this is the name of a new function, and we want to find out what it is. So here's what this means. All right, so this means take f of g of x. So what we're doing, we're starting with some value of x. We're going to put that number into g, compute. That gives us another number. And then we take that number and put it into f. But now we're not given any specific numbers. We're given some value x. So we're going to put that value of x right up into g. So you replace x with x. It looks exactly the same. And in fact, this says g of x. What is g of x? Well, g of x is x plus 2. So I'm going to put that x plus 2 right there. So we'll have f of x plus 2. Now we have to process the x plus 2. So what do? Here's the processor. So there's our rule. We're going to use the f rule. So you're going to locate f right here. And everywhere you see an x, you're going to replace it with x plus 2. So that x is just a placeholder. So it says whatever comes in, square it. Now what's coming in is x plus 2. So I'm going to square that. And then I guess I could just multiply that out. X squared plus 4x plus 4. Right? What do? When you square a binomial, you square the first term, multiply the two together, 2x, double it, 4x, and then square the last. So we are saying that this rule here, f of g of x is x squared plus 4x plus 4. So just to be clear on it, you have a squared function. What's the name of it? F. You got this function over here, just a linear function. What's the name of this one? G. And now we've got a new function, this one down here. What's the name of this function? Well, the name of this function is f circle g. Now part B is similar to part A, except we're going to do our processing in a different order. This says g of f. Back over here we had f of g. So when I write this one, it's going to be g of f of x, right? So what we're doing is we're starting with x. We're going to first apply f, then we're going to apply g. Now over here in part A, we started with x, we applied g, then we applied f. So we're just doing it in the opposite order now. So what is f of x? Well, f of x, that's right here. F of x is x squared. So this is g of x squared. Now we have to process the x squared, but we process it according to the g rule. So you locate g right here. Everywhere you see an x, that you can see it's been replaced by x squared. So replace that x with an x squared. Remember, that x is just a placeholder for whatever comes in. So I'm going to replace it with x squared. So it becomes x squared plus 2, and that's it. We can't go any further. So I'm going to claim now that g of f of x is x squared plus 2. And similarly, what's the name of that? That's g circle f. Now we'll do part C. Part C is this. We want to compute f circle g of negative 2. Now I'm going to do this two ways. I'm going to do it straight by definition. Here's what this is. F of g of negative 2. All right, that is what this means. What does f of g means? It means f of g of negative 2. Now, put the negative 2 into g, right? We'll start with negative 2, process it with g. So here's g, right? G's over here. So replace x with negative 2. Looks like this. F of negative 2 plus 2. So it's f of 0. Now what do you do with a 0? Well, you process that with f. So come over to f, right up here, and what does it say to do? It says whatever you bring in, 0, square it. So you get 0 squared, which is 0. Now, that was using this definition here. If I do this directly with this one, right, I know what f of g is. I got a shortcut formula. This one right here, that'll get me there faster. See, when I do it this way, I start with negative 2. I process it, I get 0. So I get that intermediate value. Then I process the 0, and it brings me over to 0 again. Now this one, this is a non-stop rule that's going to take me from the beginning negative 2 right to the end. So if I use this, f circle g of negative 2, where f circle g is this right here. So put that negative 2 here and here. So we will get negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 4. Well, we're looking at 4 minus 8 plus 4. Sure enough, we get 0 again. So the idea is this: with f circle g, all right, I'll make a drawing for this one. I'll draw 3 circles here. Right? We're going to start with negative 2. Now what do? This is this. You start with negative 2, you apply g. So to negative 2, you apply g. So I'll draw that. So I'm applying g, and g says to do this, x plus 2. And that takes me over here to, right, we processed it, we got a 0. Now, what do you do with this 0? Well, you process that with f. So there's f, and f just says to square it. And what do you do when you square 0? You get 0. Okay, that's what we did here. Now, we developed a non-stop rule that takes us from the beginning right to the end without going through that intermediate step. And we're naming that one f circle g, which is this x squared plus 4x plus 4. And maybe you can see, right, if you put that negative 2 in here, you end up with that 0. There's that processing right there.